Stephen Jules Radio Show.
Happened previously, I tried to go live, and then I don't know, had Wi-Fi disconnections or something. I don't know what's going on with the bloody internet. You can't trust telcos anymore. Maybe Telstra's listening in and like, oh, we better start disconnecting Stephen because he's going to tell the truth. Yeah, but what I was saying before this stream got disconnected. Okay. The trial of Donald Trump is a complicated trial. The politics involved in this trial. Now, he's planning to appeal this conviction. Now, the problem was with the judge who did this. It's quite possible that he's corrupt as well. Yeah, and so that's the issues that we have here. You know, it's 2024, right? And I feel that the corruption with the Democrats as well, and Dr. Fauci, have made it more complicated. Now, he in my opinion, has just really stuffed everything up with COVID. Okay. Like right now, it's just become a huge shit fight out there. And that's the problem we have here with COVID. Now, Donald Trump, okay, I believe he's done a lot of great things. All right. Now, there's all different jurisdictions involved in this case of the Donald Trump trial. Okay. Now, you can read the New York Post, you can read news.com.au, as many different news sites as you can. Basically, it's weird because if he's a convicted criminal, he's not going to go to jail. In my opinion, they can't put him in jail for what? What grounds do they have to put Donald Trump in jail? It's either this is led by Joe Biden and his corrupt officials, Hunter Biden as well, okay, smoking crack and off his head on drugs with his laptop. Apparently he's facing charges. But yet the Democrats will do everything they can to cover up their own mess, blame Donald Trump for this, and then make it out to be like, oh, they want to control the whole election system for the United States of America. Okay. Now, I was very disappointed in how this has happened. The amount of money it's costed for Trump in legal fees, and they've done a fair good work to raise money from the donations. For me, it's I don't get it. You got Joe Biden, who's old, who's not mentally fit. He's done nothing for the American people. The American people are pissed off with Joe Biden. Apparently, there are Democrat voters that have moved to the Republican voters party. They're following the Republicans. Now, America's in a bit of a shit situation. Eric Trump was taken to court. I'm fed up of hearing about all these Donald Trump rumors. Even when he was president in 2016, that's when all the bullshit started. Even here in Australia, every darn fucking day, you'd hear it on television. Donald Trump did this. Oh, he was popular. The MSNBC were very supportive when he was on The Apprentice. And when he was in WWE, again, shaved Vince McMahon's head bald. As soon as politically he wanted to start doing something good for America, people started labeling him as a racist. He's this, he did all these allegations. So where's the logic and common sense in the court system of New York? And not only that, I don't know how long this case is going to go on for. If this, apparently this will have to go to the High Court of the United States of America. He, in my opinion, he's done everything by the book. And yet all these made-up charges, okay. Now, you may not like Donald Trump. There are even conservative voters, right-wing voters who are not a fan of Trump, and that's fine. But you got to see the picture here. How unfair is this system? It's all out to put, like, the Democrats are just doing this as a game to humiliate him. All right. Stormy Daniels may can up all these affairs that he slept with Stormy Daniels, and someone. I just get fed up of all the rumors. I just get sick of it. Listen, I quite am honest. I'll listen to Fox News and I'll listen to multiple news. We've seen it, and he was right with the border. Illegal immigrants have taken over, taking free welfare from hard-working Americans, free health care, free welfare, taking jobs. Now, and the immigrants are just crossing. They're crossing the border illegally. America's gone to shit now. The cost of living as well. The cost of living, inflation has hit here. It's hit the whole world actually, and there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, now apparently if Donald Trump's a convicted felon, he can't hold a right to the NRA or owning a gun license. Now, this is the problem. If he is president and the Democrats have said, have charged him and he's a criminal and he's running the country, so it's going to be like if he has to go to a meeting in another state or another jurisdiction, okay, if he doesn't get his appeal or his appeal is denied, it's going to mean however long he'd be on a probation, he's going to have to go and see a probation officer, tell the probation officer where he's going, what he's doing, even if he is a president of the United States. And then after that, I don't know however long it is, but he's got a country to run. He's got the American people to look after. Right. So I don't understand why a jury, in this case of a political prisoner, Democrat supporters, Democrat voters as well, it was corrupt from the very beginning of this trial. Now, this thing could go on with the High Court for the next 10 years. And Donald Trump may not even be alive by then. Definitely, fed up with Joe Biden as well, not pulling his weight. And what has he done for us? For you, the American people? I talk as an Australian citizen because it does affect us Aussies as well. Okay? Broken promises from politicians not delivering on what they said they would do. Again, going away overseas always has to have an excuse. All right? And they're never here. Okay? So this is what has happened to America. And, yeah. It's one of the problems that this needs to be addressed. Okay? This needs to be addressed. The American people, Australian people, okay, are fed up. And, they want change. When Barack Obama was president, he promised change for the American people, okay? Now, I quite like Barack Obama. I think he was a decent president. But again, economically, Obamacare failed, all right? These immigrants, okay, are getting free health care, free welfare benefits, free accommodation. I could be wrong. Okay. Now, That's what it is, and that's what's going on. I feel that now the left-wing politicians, okay, do everything they can, not all of them, there are some good Labor politicians, there are good Democrat politicians as well who have a vision for the people, but definitely when you get up to the top of like the Joe Bidens, the Hillary Clinton, okay, what else? Nancy Pelosi's. That's when it all becomes like another soap opera in America, especially America, okay? And so that's what it is. This is what we're dealing with, guys. So I don't know how long this case is going to go on for, all right? Apparently Stormy Daniels has broken some silence on Donald Trump. Lock him up. Stormy Daniels breaks silence on Donald Trump verdict. Quote, Daily Telegraph. Online. Quote. Now, I don't know what has happened here with Stormy Daniels. I think Donald Trump will get through this. I think this will just be like a little niggling thing that he will overcome. I think that as soon as a Democrat is ended up in trouble, and there have been politicians put in jail as well, it's like they keep it a secret. Now, during the trial, Miss Daniels testified that she and Mr. Trump had a sexual encounter in 2006 at a Lake Tahoe hotel room after the pair first met at a celebrity golf tournament, quote, Daily Telegraph. Now, where's the evidence here in this case? Now, I don't know what, the whole world don't know what went on with Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump. To me, reading that is an allegation. That's happened. Okay. Now, it was very disappointing. It was a rigged trial. Something does not add up here. Someone is lying somewhere. Either the judge, who doesn't like the Republican Party, all right, you're reading about this gag order as well, okay? Something to do with Michael Cohen. There are people in this case that are after Donald Trump on purpose because they hate him, they don't want the truth, okay? And to me, it's just quite sad. When you hear about all this hush money stuff, we don't know what goes on behind those closed doors in those meetings with politicians. According to Donald Trump, quote, I paid a lawyer, a legal expense, and a bookkeeper without any acknowledge from me correctly. Marked it down in the books. It's a legal expense. This is what the falsification of business records were. Quote, nobody's ever seen anything like it. Quote, Daily Telegraph. Now, it should never happen to other presidents. And Joe Biden apparently had a smirk on his face. Something's going on there. You know when politicians are lying? But now, if you ever study psychology, okay, psychologists, you know, can tell when someone's lying. They could probably tell you when a politician's talking bullshit. They do that here in Australia as well. There are some that talk shit. And you just know when they're talking shit. When they deny corrupt dealings. Bill Clinton denying his affair with Monica Lewinsky. Remember the good old Clinton days? Off his head on marijuana. I've only experimented with marijuana, but I've never done it. I thought about it, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, travel restrictions for Donald Trump to come to Australia. Visa rules, if convicted, could be China, Canada, the UK. So that's going to be if he needs to have meetings or he would have to do them over Zoom. I don't know. Again, he'd have to surrender his firearms. But according to the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, should be allowing Donald Trump to have his voting rights. Okay, so Donald Trump will be sentenced on the 11th of July. They're trying to think, as I've said, I don't think he will be going to jail or prison. That's for what? On what ground? There's possibly probation or being slapped with a fine. You could ask a judge. Okay. But to me, this is where it gets very complicated with how the justice system of this will work. To me, it's a rigged trial, and something does not add up properly. Okay. I'll be keeping you updated more on Donald Trump on the show as well. I'll keep an eye on how things are going and what is being talked about. Because you got the left-wing media, they hate Donald Trump. They've hated him since he became president. Hunter Biden as well. The guy's got issues. Okay. Yeah, Joe Biden denies it. And for me, that to me is just not good. All right. State of New York is in shit. Okay. State of America's in shit. The people know it, you know it, I know it. All right. Inflation is absolutely out of the charts as well. You know, the cost of living crisis that we've got. So that to me, something does not add up with this case. I feel that Americans have been robbed. But other than that, apparently there was customers, I think this happened up in Queensland, they found a mold insect infested show bag. Now, how would you feel? You're paying $50 for a show bag and you're finding all this mold and insect infested stuff. That's just not good. How would you feel? Some of the show bags are going for like $200 for, you know, basically 4 lollies and a merchandise, which is just a Chinese piece of shit. Mate, you know, piece of shit, basically. And mold and all this crap is in there. That's disgusting. Insects infesting lollipops. How the hell does that get in there? Yeah, apparently, you know, and the customers have had to throw these out. And they can't get their money back. It's basically the Ipswich Show Society. They're responsible for supplying these show bags, okay? But they're saying that they take health and safety very seriously in consideration with their customers. So they're going to have to do something as to how mold and insect get in show bags and lollies. That to me, something brings a red flag right there. That is not good. But what's happened, the MacArthur Bulls soccer team, if anyone's into football, soccer, they've been investigated for, a 10,000 betting scandal with yellow card, okay? Now, is this, sort of match fixing? Match fixing is illegal, okay? Some of these soccer players are involved in some underworld stuff. It's not just soccer, it's every sport. Match fixing, these are underworld, okay? Now, I don't know what the consequences are for this, but a lot of players who coming toward the end of their retirement, in cricket or whatever, what do they call match fixers? Well, underworld match fixers, mafia's involved. will approach players privately, offer them a huge buyout to rig a game, and it does happen. And a lot of the players take it because it's quick money, and they know, well, they're not going to have a contract for next year, so what do they have to lose? And the risk they take. And the problem is, and Ian Chappell was right, if you end up confessing to it or dobbing them in, they'll come after you and your family. And it's, to me, that's, when soccer, NRL matches, NFL, cricket is rigged, it's been going on for years. So, yeah, not good. Not good at all. Very bad when it's rigged. The weather right now is 9.8 degrees Celsius. Feels like 7.5 degrees Celsius. It's going to be low 7 degrees tonight, top at 19. Partly cloudy. Tomorrow, showers forecasted, low 7 degrees, top at 19, 1 to 10 millimeters of rain. Should fill up the water tank. At least I managed to get some laundry done yesterday. Thursday will be showers, low of 10 degrees, top of 18, 3 to 25 millimeters of rain. For Thursday, Friday, sunny with showers, a low of 9 degrees Celsius, top of 19, 0 to 10 millimeters of rain. Saturday, sunny with showers, a low of 10 degrees Celsius, top of 20, 0 to 3 millimeters of rain. And Sunday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 9 degrees Celsius, top of 19 degrees Celsius, no rain. Monday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 8 degrees Celsius, top of 18, no rain. Tuesday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 6 degrees Celsius, and a top of 19 degrees Celsius. No rain forecasted for that day. Basically, as you know, I'm involved with the NDIS. I'm on the NDIS National Disability Insurance Scheme, okay? Now, there are dodgy NDIS agencies out there that are robbing Australians with disabilities, price gouging, stealing funding, Bill Shorten cracking down. I'll keep talking about the NDIS because it's very important. Apparently, there was a man employed in an NDIS organisation, passed the screening test, and he's involved in a neo-Nazi group, which is like a white supremacist group, a bunch of racist bastards. They're like Hitler youth. They are. And it's actually illegal to be involved in these white supremacist groups. They're displaying swastikas, what they hate. It's like, it's all about white power for them, okay? Stuart von Moger, has had links to the white supremacist and neo-Nazi groups. But how come he was still able to pass an NDIS screening check? How come he's able to work with people with disabilities? Okay? He's a former Army reservist, but he's associating with people with extremist views. Okay? Now, something's a bit suspicious here because he only wants to work with young males, okay? Isn't that odd? Okay. His new employer did research on his name, okay, and found out that Stuart von Moger, all right, was associating with National Socialist networks, now apparently named the Antipodean Resistance and the Lad Society, okay. Now, 33 years old, working with young people with disabilities and a part of these white supremacist groups should be raising red flags for the NDIS. Okay. Now, apparently, it was the bodyguard for Craig Kelly in the anti-lockdown events during Melbourne in the COVID. Remember the COVID times in the pandemic? I feel that people involved with these organizations that are preaching white power, hate speech, bullying, they should not be working in any aged care, disability services. They shouldn't even be working with children as well. Because when you read that he only wants to work with young males, that's a bit odd. As you know, the NDIS, National Disability Insurance Scheme, I saw it from day one, becoming a disaster. Okay. And now for me, when you read about NDIS workers, basically, yeah, they're just doing evil stuff like this is not good at all. And it's quite disgusting. It pisses me right off. Okay. And what has this system done? This is a broken system. Okay. That's really devastated me and disgusted me that some of these NDIS organizations are out to rip people off and rip the government off. Okay. And that's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. I feel that it saddens me quite a fair bit. Really saddens me. that there are evil, bad people who work in the NDIS deliberately to start up these organisations, call themselves an NDIS provider, aged care provider, same thing, and are only out there to rip off vulnerable Australians. But that, to me, is evil, sick, and bad, and these people should be punished and raided by the Australian Federal Police and shut them down. Okay? Because I'm fed up with people ripping people off, all right? I'm fed up with people lying and cheating people in business, okay? And people with disabilities as well. Autism, disabilities. It gets harder to communicate, okay? So look, like, you gotta put it like feelings wise for these people who are treated this bad and they can't speak up because of their medical conditions. So these evil carers, these bastards, right, who go in this and exploit people with disabilities should all be thrown in jail, okay? And they'll meet a lot of fighters in jail for what they do. Neglecting people. There have been people who have died in the care of organisations. And there are very bad people in the NDIS. Okay? And to me, if you want to go and price gouge the government, price gouge NDIS, expect to have a knock on the door one day from the Australian Federal Police raiding your home, and you're the one ending up in jail for ripping off vulnerable Australians and price gouging. Okay? Or if you're doing bad stuff of neglecting and not doing your job, then you're gonna deal with the consequences, okay? And lose your job. Because that's not on. Alright? That is not on. So these issues need to be addressed, and good on Bill Shorten for standing up for Australians with disabilities. Okay? And helping Australians with disabilities. Someone involved in a neo-Nazi group, white supremacist group, should not even be employed by the NDIS. So how the hell do they get past a screening check and the National Disability Insurance Scheme? That's what I want to know. Whoever did this screening check did not do their job properly. So, like I said, people need to do their jobs right, okay? That's what people need to do. And people need to stop ripping people off, because I'm fed up with it. Okay? It goes to show that, yeah, how mismanaged from day one this new system was going to be. So that's how it is for Australians. Cost of living pressures putting fatigue on volunteer firefighters, SES, of course, because obviously you're a volunteer firefighter. You're not paid to go, of course. You're giving up your time. I used to volunteer for the RFS, but I resigned on mental health reasons, of course, plus the time. It's all, you've got to obviously expect you to attend. It's not a job. They always tell you that your job is more important than volunteering. And yeah, I agree with that. Trouble is the RFS, SES, government department, they rely on government funding. Becomes all political. It became more political. I'd find when I'd be going to a job with the RFS, you'd turn up to a job and just say there was a shed on fire. Fire and rescue would be there first, and then we would come in, get a debrief, be waiting around, and either stood down or do a mop up. I just feel that, this sort of volunteering, like I said, you're risking your life, and you're not being paid to go. You're not a professional. You're not fire and rescue. They're professional firefighters. But for me, mental health was more important than the RFS. I had to make a choice. Part of it was when I caught COVID, I caught it very, very bad, and it did affect my mental health. I've noticed changes in my body. Like, you compare my current body to, say, and my mind 10 years ago, I felt that I had more energy, I would say. But now, since this happened and lots happened in the last 3 years, I've had to take a step back and take my priorities in consideration. All right. And so that's how it is. You got to think, what's more important, your mind, body, and soul. And the problem is, too, RFS, SES, volunteers, if they're, again, cost of living crisis, if they're renting and they have to move house and they have to move away, half hour away from the station, they can't go. Because as soon as your pager goes off, by the time you turn up, someone's already left with the fire truck. And, we've had 2 years of flooding as well, okay? Now, being a government department, the Australian federal government should be looking after volunteers more. Fatigue, exhaustion, heat exhaustion, I've been there too. Being out on a fire call and say it's 40 degrees, it's very hot, I've been there. And, you risk dehydration, heat stroke, which is all dangerous, and it's happened to volunteer firefighters, or a fire overrun. I mean, yeah, our volunteers too have struggled with the cost of living crisis as well. And they just don't have the time because they need to work an extra, put in the overtime to, unfortunately your work, it's your work, family, RFS, SES volunteering. Okay, your work comes first, and then it's your family. Then your volunteering is last priority. So that's how it is for many volunteers who have to, ensure sacrifices, and they've got to weigh up, well, my health comes first, and plus there are volunteers who are retired, and medical appointments take up your day and your time, and they're hurting or they need surgery. Like myself, I have medical appointments. They're first priority. And eventually, if there's no volunteers, well, they'll just have to shut the station. You see, you've got fire and rescue who are professional paid firefighters, all right? Now, they obviously deal with more, say, house fires, structure fires, car accidents. But I believe that fire and rescue should be doing more to help the volunteers out. I used to get fed up when I was in the RFS of hearing, oh, fire and rescue took our job. Oh, fire and rescue this, fire and rescue that. I just got sick of it. I just wanted to go and do the job and go home. But it's not like that anymore. See, 50 years ago, the RFS was more chilled and laid back. But now it's become, oh, you need a qualification, SES too. I'm more, you can't use a chainsaw. You need this piece of paper. I'm more, I just got sick of that shit. I was like, nah. This is what started to piss me off. How it became about, who has the most qualifications on their piece of paper. There are some areas that they don't have they've got a fire station, but there's no volunteers. So they have to send someone from another area 20 minutes away, which delays everything. And by the time you get to the job, it's out. So that's what has happened. Again, volunteers need to be looked after more. And so that's what I believe in. Again, looking after us Australians, volunteers who are. What do we get? Nothing out of it. As you know, I spoke before on a previous episode, before these go up, about these prison affairs going on with prison guards. One lady fell pregnant to a convict, a prisoner. All right. Apparently, she's denied the pregnancy. Okay. Now, Amber Clavel, she was accused of having an affair with armed robber Mark Kennedy, 27 years old. Apparently, she was working. In April this year, she's found out she was pregnant with his child. Told her friend Jessica Wendy about the affair, and apparently she's in denial about the affair. She's done 3 pregnancy tests. They all came back positive. And I feel that How does this happen to people who work in the correction system, prison guard system, and have to go through all these, I think, checks, and they're told about boundaries and whatsoever? She's even smuggled in tobacco and other stuff. And supposed to be intelligent, and this stuff is happening. Wendy, she's a married mother of 3. She's had an affair. She's a affair. Hang on a sec. With an inmate, a married mother of 3. Okay. She was a facilitator in the intensive drug and alcohol treatment program in Jeffrey Pierce. But she's had inappropriate relationships with, 2 prison inmates. Now, how can this be? It's just, I don't get it. Oh, God. Now, as I said, that there is corruption in the justice system and in the prison system. We call it jail here. How come that these prison guards think they can get away with whatever the hell they want and use their power to do what they want? Okay? There is corruption in jail with prison guards. Smuggling, drugs, contraband. Okay. Now, El Wendy's expressed her love for Bo Jones. Sent in letters with a contraband phone. Apparently, she sent photos of herself with sex toys. Okay. Used code names in this affair. Now, these 2 women, okay, a married woman and, okay, Jessica Elwindy and Amber Clavel, what they've done is wrong. All right? They were actually warned about their relationships, okay? This is just bad. Now, they were arrested on the 23rd of April. The corrective services referred their investigation to the police. Okay. Wendy's pleaded guilty to the charges. Clavel is going possibly entering into pleas. Okay. Because engaging with an inmate, intimate relationship with an inmate, okay, accessing restricted data. Okay, bringing not only that, smuggling in prohibited drugs and supplying drugs. All right. Now, I feel, this is just not good at all. For me, it's quite sad. Something like this happens. People are supposed to, do their jobs in the eyes of the law and become corrupt. And that to me is not cool. That is just bad stuff. Okay? Very bad. As you know, I've been talking a fair bit about social media quite a lot on this show. All right. Bullies on Facebook breaking up friendships as well. And, we've got to keep our kids safe online. Apparently, Meta is shifting revenue from ad sales from Australia to Ireland. Okay, this is where it gets a bit complicated with the tax system here, because if they want to avoid and yet there's dangerous bullies, dangerous online trolls, pedophiles, predators on there. Drug dealing going on. Like I've said before, is Facebook becoming the new dark web? Because people are literally selling drugs on Facebook Marketplace. And what's Mark Zuckerberg doing? Nothing about it. Not even caring about it. Okay. Friendship to me, friendship is not Facebook. Are they your true friends? It's like a relationship, all right? You don't have a long distance relationship. It ain't going to work. Just because someone hit a like on my post, and this is what they did this intentionally to hook people and make you depressed. And I've been there too when I post great content, good quality content. I feel that's I feel that's really just breaking my heart, and it makes me feel like shit. Again, the shadow banning, it's done in secret. I found that the Sydney Morning Herald wrote an article about shadow banning. Shadow banning does in secret. So they don't tell you. YouTube's doing it. They'll deny it. Because if they don't like your content you post, what happens? In secret, they shadow ban you, so your profile doesn't show to anyone. Okay. When I was studying my bachelor's, Facebook was actually, everyone used it because it was the left. But then I always felt that there was just something just wasn't right with it. Like, I, yeah, Meta and Microsoft, Google will do anything they can to escape taxes in Australia. They're supposed to be paying taxes in Australia. All right. Trying to shift it to Ireland. I think that, they've just really screwed us over. Now, I'm not an accountant. There was a former Facebook employee, Francis Hogan, all right, quote, Ms. Hogan said that when these companies shop for cheap taxes, everyone pays the cost, quote Daily Telegraph. Okay. It's quite true. This is where it's become a problem for these big tech companies trying to avoid taxes in other countries. Now, these bullies, quote, the bullies got to Nicole on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Snapchat. The algorithm on some of these, of these platforms means you can't escape it, and it keeps recommending more content, quote, Miss Fox said, quote, Daily Telegraph. Now, basically, Miss Fox's 21-year-old daughter has taken her own life at the Dublin home in 2018. Again, online bullying has caused it. And what's Facebook done? Nothing. This poor woman has lost her life for these bastards, Mark Zuckerberg, who are just profiting out of you. You see, okay, Facebook make money from you using their platform. They're making money from your data, your privacy. They know more about you than any of your family do. And they're selling it to third-party advertisers in secrecy. Okay. And then what's going to happen? You get bombarded with all these ads, spam, whatever, etc. I used to get it all the time. Viagra. And they don't care. It's like universities now are so left, they don't give a shit. They only... It's quite sad that a lot of these left companies partnering with these lefty tech companies in order to bully people, okay? They're basically monetizing children getting bullied, okay, and young people committing suicide, causing depression out of it, and they're profiting out of this stuff. Now, this is just sick. This is bad. Mark Zuckerberg, I've said it, he can fuck off. Bill Gates can fuck off. Steve Jobs can fuck off as well. Because these CEOs who want to take all the glory, steal other people's work, backstab people in the back, and a lot of them do this. And to make themselves look like they're all the best, well, shame on you. Because a guilty conscience, guys, will keep you up at night. And people who lie, cheat, and steal in business, sooner or later, it's going to backfire against them. And you don't know when it's coming, but it will happen to them. But, you're listening to the Stephen Shields radio show all the way from Sydney, Australia. I'm doing this live audio on Rumble, so you're most welcome to join in, say hi, ask questions. This is where I'll be. As I've said with social audio, I've tried X Spaces, but I can't download the audio recording. And the problem with that, with X Spaces, is, it's just I can't download the audio recording to publish it as a podcast. Okay. Yeah, so that's where I am here. All right. But it's like a forever changing world right now. I feel that we have to, just start researching as to basically well, the truth is just going to come out eventually, guys, you see. And, well, it does. Penrith Council is making at least $2.6 million in parking fine-related revenue, apparently. A lot of councils, jurisdictions, states making quite a lot of money in parking fines. But there's not enough parking out there. Like the hospital, for instance, around Campbelltown Hospital, Fairfield Hospital, Liverpool Hospital, the public hospital, you got to pay for parking, okay? Now, it can always ruin your day when Australians have a parking fine, because things do happen. Your doctor's running late, or you're running late for an appointment. There's no parking, like around Campbelltown Private Hospital. There's not enough parking, and yet, I see it all the time in Olympic Park, where rangers are fining people. And to me, it's a system that's not fair. The councils and that should have their reserved funds to be building more car parking spaces. Now, if you go to the national parks, they're cashless. And what if people, you have to get a national parks pass, of course, but not every, especially more elderly people, they don't use debit card or credit card. They use cash. I think that, when Scott Morrison trialled this system during COVID, the paperless ticketing system, where, how do I explain it? Ranger fines someone with a parking fine, you could dispute it with them or something, but when it came to the paperless one, you didn't see it on your windshield, but then 1-2 weeks later in the mail, it would just come. And, to dispute it, it's a bit of a lengthy process. Or for anyone who goes to court over it, it's a bit of a lengthy process. But there's just not enough parking around. It's, to me, I mean, Sydney's worse for it. Olympic Park, you've got to pay to park around there. Accor Stadium, private company, you got to pay to park. And it will get all booked out on like Good Friday. I guarantee State of Origin, it will all be booked out. You've got to book it probably at least 2 weeks in advance just to get a spot. Okay? So even going to an event, if you're driving, this is why I'll catch the train. Because, yeah, it's just easier. I do not want to be driving around and then, it's costing extra money to park your car. Accor Stadium or the Sydney Cricket Ground, wherever you go. Okay. Way up all the traffic involved. And there are cases where the parking meter is faulty. So you've gone and paid for however long you've stayed for your parking. And it's a faulty parking meter. And then you've got to go through the trouble, and, that's why you've got to keep all your receipts and your documents. So you have proof, I think, to show Revenue New South Wales of what has happened. So the councils, governments, to me, that they're very quick to want to fine people for overstaying in their car park, parking their cars, but yet don't want to build more parking spaces. They want to put the meter on, all right? They want to put the meter on, and basically they're very quick to collect, but they're not quick to go and build things as well and build more car parking, like at the public hospitals in Campbelltown. Nurses, doctors, people have to pay to park. So if you're sick and you need to rush, situation, and you overstay the parking, the boom gate won't go up. Like Leppington Station has a boom gate, which I thought was stupid because it holds everything up. This is what I don't get, honestly. It's just another way of control for the people. And especially where medical facilities around Gregory Hills have built extra medical facilities, there's not enough car parking. And as you know, doctors, specialists, they're booked out. They're very busy. They've got too many patients since COVID. And, you can only get an appointment when they're available. I know for an ear nose, when I went to see the ear, nose and throat doctor, it was at least 6 months wait. Had to go to Liverpool and I couldn't get another appointment for another 6 months in Campbelltown, in the near the private hospital. And I'm driving around. I've had to park in a 3-hour parking. The specialists, they're never on time. So you think, oh shit, I'm late for my appointment. You get there and there's there's a 45-minute wait. So you put your timer on your phone for 3 hours. You're thinking, oh shit, am I going to get seen before I can get back to the car, or I have to go and move the car? See, that's what I don't understand with location-wise too. All right. As to how, they build medical facilities but not enough parking. It becomes a madhouse around there. Liverpool Hospital, when you drive to Liverpool Hospital, oh, it's a bloody madhouse. I hate Liverpool. I'm not a fan of Liverpool. It's one area I've pretty much avoided going to if I can. So that's how it is. That's the car parking crisis that we've got going on now in Australia as well. So they'll do anything they can to milk us out of pocket of your hard-earned money, but yet they're very slow to go and fix potholes on the road councils. Very slow to build more car parking. All right. And to me, I feel that, medical appointments, as I've said, they're first priority. They come first. All right. And you can't hurry up a doctor. You can't hurry up the specialist. He's, busy as hell, and he's got patients to see. I'm not the only patient. Inflation, the cost of living too, specialists putting their fees up. And so that's what's happened. So it hits everyone. The Daily Telegraph had some good information about how you can dispute it. You can go and research that as well. But I thought I'd inform you guys about the parking situation for essential services. It's like this asbestos crisis. Asbestos being found around Oran Park, Canterbury Road, Georges Road, Wiley Park. The Canterbury Bankstown Council's looking into this, asking the state governments to just please be honest. All right. Asbestos being discovered in sites. They close these sites down. I don't know how they test the soil for asbestos. These they'll inspect the sites. They'll put an asbestos sign, put a fence up. So how long has this asbestos been in the soil for? And is this becoming another scam? Closing sites of businesses. At Oran Park Fire Station, they found asbestos. I mean, asbestos is dangerous stuff. It causes cancer. All right. Yeah, it's not good for your health, asbestos. I'm being honest with you guys. Like, people used to work Like you go back to 1960s, 1950s, people worked with asbestos with no mask. And 30, 40 years later is when it's catching up to you, affecting your lungs as well. And so that's what's happened. Yeah, I don't know what this crisis is. I don't know who's starting this stuff. Earlier this year, at least, well, there was around 20 sites. There was a school that had to be closed because of asbestos. I mean, has it become another business, asbestos, around these areas? Yes, that is a question that needs to be answered, because how come 10 odd years ago we didn't hear about all these asbestos? Was South Park right at predicting asbestos and how things were going to close because of asbestos? So that's the problem we face right now with asbestos. So I think someone somewhere is going around and creating a scam out of asbestos so they can go and shut a business down or shut the school down on purpose, or oh yeah, we found asbestos, so we're going to contaminate it. We don't know how long that asbestos has been in the soil for. That asbestos. And that's the problem we've got with asbestos, the asbestos crisis. Yet they're willing, state government's willing to go around finding asbestos, but at least they're not going around fixing potholes on the road. Ask them though. And you know how I do feel about all these potholes. Australian pothole hell, when all hell breaks loose. Australian pothole hell. Yeah, that's how it is. That's really how it is. And that's what's going on. It's business for them. It's just another con job in order to scam people and scam out businesses to close their doors. Because I think it's been done on purpose. Really, I do. As you know, there's possibly going to be no rate cuts until December 2025 next year. As you know, in Australia's going through inflation. Apparently, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, the annual inflation climbed to 3.6% in April from 3.5% in March, driven by significant hikes in health insurance premiums and worker-induced spikes in fruit and vegetable prices. Quote news.com.au. The upstick surpassed market expectations of 3.4% increase, while headline inflation has hovered around 3.5% since December. Quote news.com.au. Now you're getting, different viewpoints to inflation with economists. Some people are objecting to the tax cuts that the stage 3 tax cuts that apparently it was being worked on by the former coalition government. Stage 3, tax cuts. Okay. And so we're doing that, and people are thinking, well, yeah, it could help, but a lot of these tax cuts are really for the rich people, not the poor and middle class income who have to struggle the most. Now, an accountant will tell you about, well, the more money you earn, the more tax you pay. So you have to be earning a certain amount to be paying tax in the first place. As you know, the cost of living crisis has happened. This was obviously announced before the budget began. And yeah, this is a straw Australia face. Again, I've said it before, we pay way too much in tax. We're robbed of our hard-earned money. Our food, GST, tobacco, if you're a smoker, alcohol, I like to have the occasional beer, although beer's gone up, coffee's gone up too, because GST is paid on everything, petrol, gas prices, electricity, health insurance especially. Inflation has affected all of what I've said. War in Ukraine, supply and demand, natural disasters. Yeah, so they've done that. Some people are happy, some are against it. I'll let you make up your own mind about tax cuts. I'm particularly not happy with GST in Australia, the goods and services tax. I've said it to you before, we're taxed too much. Basically, these, people are in mortgage stress, okay? Reserve Bank of Australia is hoping to keep the cash rate at least, at a steady percentage of 4.35% until May 2025. But these interest rates, they need to be cut earlier than December 2025. Now, Angus Taylor's criticised spending on the federal government. Quote, Angus Taylor, one of the highest and most persistent rates of inflation of any advanced economy. And we are in a high inflation rate, Jim Chalmers. And the problem is, if prices go up, what happens? People stop spending the money because they can't afford it. And I'll keep saying this. I hate using that word can't afford. But when you can't go to your favorite cafe because they've put their prices up, because the suppliers put the price up. They're not price gouging. They didn't want to put the prices up. Like I said, specialists have had to put their prices up to the ENT I go to. He put his fees up by $50. There's nothing I can do about it. But when prices keep going up and food and beverages keep going up, but your wages are not going up, then that's not fair. That's not fair at all. So this is the problems that we've got right now. Coles and Woolworths price gouging last year. Inflation was up around 5%. You'd go and do your shopping, and you're wondering, well, low. I mean, I do see that Coles and Woolies are making their own home brand version of bread, and if you do go shopping, I always buy home brand. But what I don't like is what's called shrinkflation. That's when you're paying the retail price, but yet it's getting smaller, like Cocoa Pops. As you know, I don't buy Cocoa Pops or Neutral Grain or any of that stuff. I prefer to just buy Uncle Toby's oatmeal, oats, because they're better for you. Rather than trying to get processed foods, of course. That's just me. Okay. And obviously, yeah, food is an essential service. Governments know this, so whenever they have the opportunity to price gouge, they will take it. And price gouging. It's illegal. And all this shrinkflation, deflation, inflation, drama. I mean, what's next? People need food to eat. Because you've got to eat. Okay. And sadly, this affects retail. Because in retail, I think in retail especially, they don't want to have to put prices up because it just gets more expensive for customers out there. Again, if they don't have the money to spend, then they won't be able to afford what they want, customers. And what happens when business not making money? They go broke as well, and that to me is not good. Not good at all. Leichhardt Oval. Now, I've never been to Leichhardt Oval, but it's very small, and for years and years, it's been a shit fight with council, state government to get funding for Leichhardt Oval. Okay. Now, it's apparently going to receive a $10 million upgrade from Inner West Council's reserve fund. Upgrade Leichhardt Oval. The facilities at Leichhardt Oval are not up to NRL standards. They're old facilities. Apparently, there was football teams aren't able to take a decent shower. All right. If you've ever been to Leichhardt, I've been to Leichhardt, and it's a struggle to get around there. Now the Oval does need a huge upgrade as well. Apparently, the ARLC, Peter V'landys and Anthony Albanese is going to give $50 million in funding to improve the venue, but there's no announcement that's been made. Now, as you know, Peter V'landys had to get government funding in the pandemic in order to keep the NRL going. They had to get some government funding somewhere. But our stadiums, Accor Stadium as well. It needs to be renovated. It's fallen to shit. Okay. Needs to have, apparently they need to be putting a roof over it. Toilet facilities are crap there. What else? And this is the problem with these government funded places. When there's no money goes in and these upgrades need to be done. So how long is it going to take to get the funding to renovate Leichhardt Oval, rebuild Leichhardt Oval, and make Leichhardt Oval better? So that's the problems we've got in Leichhardt right now. The Australian military as well is in crisis. It's in a recruitment crisis, actually. People have thought twice about joining, as we know that they're talking about foreign citizens from New Zealand, permanent residents, UK, US, Canada, Pacific Island, to join the Australian Defence Force. These are non-Australian citizens. Now, is it possible that Anthony Albanese is going to expand and make it more easier to join the Defence Force? Okay. Is it the Australian government, okay, in desperation to recruit people to the Australian Defence Force, given that the high suicide rate, the high, not getting compensated properly from Veteran Affairs? My answer to this is don't join. Don't even sign up for it. Forget it. Because now it's, as soon as you, like I said, you get injured, you get hurt, you get thrown out. And you're just pretty much a number to the government. So it comes down to you signing up to fight for the government, and you're not getting anything out of it. And so that's what's happened. So this is how these things are treated. Okay. So that's the problem we've got. And for me, I feel that I feel that there's just too much corruption. Way too much corruption in the Australian Defence Force. And that's what's happened. Yeah, so this is the issues that we're dealing with now. This is our Australia that we've got to put up with. And so that's what's happened. Really, and it's this is the issue where veterans fight for the country and they get nothing. They're slandered by the media as war criminals. So this is what happens when you sign up and fight for your country. You get nothing out of it.